lift the other one?
We have to.
Okay. Okay, we'll do it again after that.
And we are on the verge of hearing from our first fighter of the post-fight press conference, and that will be Sergey Spivak. You got that win over Taito Ivasa, a fan favourite here, as we all know. He will be kicking things off with his translator. He's just about to join the stage. So let's hear Sergey speak about that arm triangle choke finish that he got in the second round against Taito Ivasa. We'll be back shortly after.
Sergey, congratulations on the victory this evening. I'm curious kind of what your mindset was like going in tonight. The debut was so disappointing. I wonder what the feel was like. Were there nerves? What was the moment like?
Спасибо большое. Конечно, волнительно было, потому что этот бой очень много значил для меня. Первый свой бой я проиграл нокаутом, 50 секунд, ничего не показал. Сейчас мне нужно было достойно вернуться. Все как бы шло как бы против меня, как будто, потому что я дрался на территории. Слава Богу.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. And as I told before, that fight meant a lot to me, just because and to win in the enemy territory. So as I always told, it makes it much more greater in terms of victory, in terms of its importance. So for me, it was really important victory tonight. I mean today. Yeah.
Yes, and he looked for the head and arm choke several times before he got it. I'm curious if he knew coming in that that was going to be the move that he would be able to finish the fight with, or if it was something he reacted to tonight.
Я, знаете, никогда не планирую какой-то ход боя, и я всегда, всегда перед боем очень много мыслей, может пройти бой так, но он происходит так, как он происходит. Я всегда готовлюсь ко всему и стараюсь быть готовым ко всему, работаю над каждым аспектом. И слава Богу, сегодня мне просто побольше чуть повезло. Дай Бог той Васе скорейшего возвращения. Дай Бог здоровья его семье. Очень уважаю его. Спасибо ему за бой. Спасибо огромное.
So, what outcome of the fight? I never ever made any predictions. I knew it's gonna happen. like in different outputs can be predicted, but just what I say, Tai Tuivasa was a tough opponent for me, and God bless him. God bless on him recover as fast as possible, and on his quickest return to fight. So thank you all.
And last thing for me, I know he said he doesn't want to pick opponents or call anybody out, but what would make sense next in terms of where to fight or when to fight? Does he want to fight in Europe or Russia or the United States? What would he like to do next?
Ожидаешь следующий бой, когда драться в следующий раз, где драться? Будет это Россия, Америка, Европа, что-либо еще? Какие-то ожидания на следующий бой?
Знаете, после боя на такие вопросы как-то не хочется отвечать, потому что когда ты прошел очень тяжелый лагерь, очень тяжело тренировался, все отдавал для того, чтобы в этот день ты был лучше, чтобы ты победил. Чуть попозже можно уже говорить об этом. Какие будут предложения, мы будем смотреть и соглашаться смотреть.
So what I say for this question, it's difficult now to understand where it's gonna happen next, because it's just been like less than an hour after the fight. So difficult to gather all thoughts together. So we'll see how it goes. We'll consider all the offers, all proposals, and we'll see how it goes later on. Thank you.
Хочу сказать спасибо еще моему угловому Владимиру Шамарову. Спасибо, что ты приехал поддержать меня. Сегодня твои советы мне помогли. И мы сделали хорошую работу. Тебя сегодня не пустили на сцену. Но я думаю, что после этих слов тебя будут все знать.
Additionally, I want to say big thanks to my corner coach, Vladimir Shemarov. He's done a really great job for me tonight, and he helped me a lot. And they didn't allow him to come out the stage, but following in the future, I expect you to have like to earn what you deserve to. Yep.
Еще бы хотел бы сказать спасибо своей семье за поддержку. Это самая большая мотивация в моей жизни, моя семья. Спасибо всем моим спарринг-партнерам, которые мне помогали готовиться к этому бою. Вы знаете, наверное, команду Федор Тим, Александр Невский. Это команда лучшая в мире. Спасибо большое им. Спасибо, ребята.
I also want to say huge thanks to my family. This is my number one team, and I really appreciate their help and their support all the way. And I want to say thank you and my huge appreciations to all of my sparring partners who I've been working with, and to the team, to the Fedor team, Fedor Emelianenko. So yeah, they helped me a lot, and Alexander Nevsky. Those two teams are the best in the world. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Спасибо, ребята, всем. Я здесь не для того, чтобы говорить о трэш-токе. Я спокойный парень, добрый, просто. Я привык доказывать все в клетке, а не на словах.
Thank you everyone for your attention. To everyone who supported me. I'm not here to trash talk. I always prove in the cage. Always prove what I do in the cage by my actions. So thank you all.
And there we have it, Sergey Spivak with his post-fight thoughts, I guess. He seems a man of few words, but then he had plenty more words that we didn't expect. A bonus question, if you will. I'm joined now by Esther Lynn, who was cage side for that amazing victory in the main event. Esther, can I get your reaction to that straight off the bat?
That was wild.
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
I came back in here and then Casey said as he was watching, he never felt that Adesanya was really out of control of the fight.
Yeah.
Did you get the same thing?
Yeah, you could sense that. Even when he was getting hit, he expected it. You know, even that stray head kick that kind of, got him. He was just like, all right. Just kind of,
Yes, please.
went with it. Yeah. Just like,
Did you hear the buzzer at the end of the first round? Because I didn't. I think they,
I did.
Because
I did.
he got
Right.
hit and then everyone, and it like blocked out the.
It was right after that.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy because I actually got the shot of that one too, but like Robert, being the good fighter he is, actually has his hands up, right?
Wow.
So you can actually kind of barely see it because his hands are up, and then Adesanya was like fists like in through it.
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
Incredible fight. I don't know who Chelsea just told us we're waiting for next, but
Oh yeah, I didn't hear.
we are going to be getting someone next, believe me. I guess would it be Dan Hooker?
I guess so, yeah.
So sit tight for that, guys.
Dude.
Oh look, we're on. Casey's got us on camera and
Oh,
everything.
yeah. Look at that.
Hello, everybody. But let me just make sure our levels are
Oh
okay.
my god, I'm so sweaty.
Perfect. Dan Hooker, I think that was probably the performance of his lifetime as well.
Yes. You know, it's funny, the crowd probably, because most of them are just here to, good seats in a fun event on Sunday, right? And that's necessarily giant MMA fans. So it seemed kind of slow paced, right? But it was, Al's never been finished, right? So it was just extremely technical and very well done, I thought.
What does this say for, like, we saw at the Q&A the other day, so many people, they were complaining about the quality of the card outside of the main and co-main. And now they've come in and they've broken the attendance record, as per the broadcast says. What does that not pretty much guarantee that they won't be getting a stronger card the next time around?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Come on, Australia fans.
Yeah, you got to band together if you want stronger cards. Well, I think it depends, right? So I think that the UFC was smart in lowering the ticket price for this event because it wasn't worth the whatever the tickets used to cost or whatever. But I think what they're trying to say is that Izzy is a main eventer and that you would pay just to watch him fight.
A lot was made of the whole star-making thing of this card, the element, the power that it would make. Would it create a new star? It certainly feels like that, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
even before when they were coming out, you could hear a few boos for Israel, but then as soon as he won, it was like they just flipped immediately. No, this is the guy. They cannot-
No. They still cheered for Rob, of course, because they're not fair weather fans. They're still
No, yeah, very
they
loyal.
still love their guy, but they saw that Izzy had done it and had achieved what he set out to achieve, and so you couldn't really take that away from him, because it was actually it was kind of tore him apart in a way that was so clinical and frightening.
It was frightening, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was dramatic.
It was very dramatic, and the photo I got of the finish, I actually screamed because it was so violent.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm actually very excited now to see your pictures. I can't wait. I'm always very excited. It makes it even better. It kind of traps it in history when you see your pictures of these things.
It was so violent that it actually scared me. I actually yelled, and the camera guy next to me was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yes, I'm fine."
I've just terrified myself with my own talent.
For Izzy's knockout shot?
Yeah, it's so violent. It's so violent. It's so gross.
You know, it was so fast.
This is Casey Leiden, by the way.
Hello. This is Casey Leiden.
All right,
Fine.
we are back, and it's someone.
Oh no, just kidding. I think it's an executive.
It's an executive of some sort. Enjoy this.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lawrence Epstein. I'm the Senior Executive Vice President, Chief Operating Officer of the UFC. Incredibly happy to be here on this historic night. Just an incredible main event. Before we get started, I want to thank a few people and organizations. First of all, I want to thank the Marvel Stadium that hosted this event here in Melbourne. An incredible facility, and the team here was first class. So happy to be back here. Also, I want to thank our partners from the sports ministry, Martin Pakula, and of course Visit Victoria Chairman Peter Bingaman. Without Visit Vic, we would absolutely not be here, and we couldn't be prouder to be partnered with them. Historic event here tonight in Melbourne. The gate tonight was approximately 8 million Australian dollars, 5.5 million US. Attendance, you've already heard this from Dana White, but in excess of 57,000, 57,127. And as far as the bonuses, I think everyone can probably guess fight of the night was Malarkey versus Riddell. That was incredible. And of course, the performance of the night, we had De Castro and of course Israel Adesanya with an incredible win. I'll be happy to take a couple of questions if you've got them.
Yeah, the attendance, not to be a downer, it looked there were some empty seats in there tonight. I don't remember seeing those as much in the Rousey Holm fight. Is the 57,000, is that verified?
Yes, it's well. First of all, there were. If you probably remember this, maybe you blocked it out of your mind, but there certainly were some empty seats in the Rousey event. Obviously, big arena, and of course, we couldn't fill every seat, but yes, that's the number we're counting.
Fair enough.
Them all up.
I wanted to ask you about the entrance, just the decision tonight to have Israel, have that entrance that he had. Typically that's not something we see in a UFC event. So I'm curious what kind of discussions were had behind the scenes, concerns for his well-being on the way to the cage, and to come to that decision that, we're going to let this guy do this.
Yeah, I don't know if there were any concerns for his well-being, but of course, that was specifically approved by Dana. Dana typically does not allow things like that, but he allowed it in this occasion. I thought it was great. I mean, I thought the intro was incredible, and obviously a great event following that incredible intro.
Yeah, and a star-making performance for Israel. I'm curious, as a company, you take like Conor McGregor, who was an international superstar. Ireland didn't have venues big enough for him, right? So he ends up fighting in the States. We think of Vegas as the home and where the biggest fights are, Madison Square Garden, that sort of thing in New York. But with Israel and having a venue like this here in Australia, do you foresee his future being able to hold, additional title fights here in the market versus being forced to fight abroad?
Listen, I think Israel Adesanya can fill stadiums anywhere in the world. There's no doubt that this guy's going to be a huge star. He's incredibly charismatic. He's got a fighting style that is really, really interesting. And he's got an incredible personality. So I think you're going to see him involved in a lot of big events in Vegas, in Australia. Who else? Who knows where else? But a lot of big events for this guy in his future.
I know matchmaking's not your strong suit, but, listen, he's talking about John Jones. Of course, Paulo Costa was there cage side. Have you got any feedback from the matchmakers or from Dana, I should say, about what his next fight would be? Would it be the Paulo Costa fight, or are we thinking outside the box and other possibilities?
I'm not going to step on Dana's toes when it comes to matchmaking, so I think you'll have to ask him. But, yeah, I think you're heading in the right direction, certainly. Costa was obviously here, and that's interesting. But I'm going to leave that one up to Dana and the matchmakers. Thanks.
And last thing for me, Lawrence, a big event here. Can you tell us about the 2020 plans for this market, the Oceania region? What can we expect to see here?
Well, it's 2020. It's the future, of the UFC. In part, is going to be here in Australia. This is an incredible market for us, pound for pound, one of the best in the world. And we're definitely back in Australia in 2020 and 2021 and 2022, and as far as you want to speculate.
Just to talk a little bit about what John was bringing up, just in terms of New Zealand, Dan Hooker, obviously a big name for quite some time in New Zealand, but do you believe a guy like, obviously Israel's the champion, but do you believe a guy like Dan Hooker could himself potentially headline a fight night card in New Zealand sometime in 2020?
Absolutely. Take a look at Israel Adesanya. Only been in the UFC for a relatively short period of time. He's now a champion, and we're talking about, more stadium shows in the future. Obviously, he just did one, headline one today. So, the answer is, of course, and great win for Hooker tonight.
Recently, we saw through some of the stuff that came up through the antitrust lawsuit, talking about the UFC's plan and assuring investors that we can keep fighter portion of revenues at 20% or below. When you compare it to other sports leagues where the split is a lot closer to 50-50, do you think 20% is fair as a percentage of revenue for the fighters?
You know, I'd really love to answer that question, but, you know, unfortunately we're involved in this lawsuit, and, you know, the lawyers who run this case have asked that they be the only ones that comment on it, but got some great answers for you. Unfortunately, not at privy to give them to you right now.
So when the lawsuit's over, we could expect those answers?
You know, when the lawyers say it's cool for me to talk about it, but trust me, I'm eager to talk about and answer that question. I could spend about 30 minutes explaining to you a lot of things about it, but unfortunately I'm not in a position to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi there. First of all, just confirming that is a UFC world record crowd, correct?
I believe it is, yes.
Yeah, nice. What do you think the future is for Robert Whittaker now?
Well, you heard it from him. I mean, he's not going away. You know, he was a great champion, a great representative for Australia, a great representative for the sport and for the UFC. So you heard it from him. He's not going away. I said I'll leave that one up to Dana and the matchmakers, and of course Robert and his team to decide, you know, what are his next moves in the UFC.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
So there you go. It's official. A UFC record attendance for UFC 243 in Melbourne, Australia. And we were just speaking about Esther Lynn's picture of that main event finish. You get over to Twitter, MMA Fighting, or Instagram, MMAfighting.com, and check it out because it's insane. You know, when you build something up and then you don't think it's going to live up to expectations, it surpassed my expectations. Incredible. She's the greatest of all time. We already know this, but dear God, it's amazing. Check it out. As Israel leaning back, catching him perfectly with the left hand. Wow. As Whittaker swings with the left of his own. Beautiful. You're not bad at taking pictures, Esther, do you know that? Don't know if anyone's ever told you that before.
I was going to say, I think this building is lucky for me.
Yeah, wow. That was like one of the most iconic pictures of your whole career, the Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey one.
Yeah.
How do you compare this one straight away? Go on.
Well, this one I wasn't worried about necessarily getting blocked, but I was worried actually that Izzy's body was going to be in the way because you can see, right? He's like...
And then he turns into a blade nearly for you. That makes it perfect.
Yeah, I was very nervous. I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to see this. I will admit I was spamming shots at this point. I was just like, I'm just going to keep taking pictures and hope that something happens.
Well, it turns out something did happen. Well, do you have any other, you know, as you said, when you took that picture, you kind of knew straight away. Did you get any other pictures tonight that you were particularly proud of?
I don't know yet.
Look, no, she's never going to say that. We have to do that ourselves, unfortunately. But I'm sure it is absolutely tremendous. And the galleries are already up, are they, Esther?
The main event and co-main aren't in yet.
Okay. Well, you know,
Working on it right now.
why don't you go and look at all the pictures, and by the time you get through them all, they will be there. That's the best way to do these things. But that was a question that we heard quite a bit during the day about the seats that were kind of still available in the higher tiers. John Morgan just asked there, from MMA Junkie just asked about that there, and they said that was the same as last time. And I think I can remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't full. It wasn't full all the way last time either.
Yeah, that's what. Like,
Even
I wasn't
when they
there, but as
sell
was.
a lot of seats. Well, also you have to think about how many seats don't have good views, so they don't necessarily sell those straight away too. And also they just didn't, because it's such a large venue. Normally we don't notice those empty seats because they block them out with fabric.
Right, yeah.
So this one, they were, you could see all the empty ones, and there were a decent amount, but and obviously it wasn't sold out, but it was very, very full.
So you're not declaring shenanigans on this record break?
Well, I mean, it includes comp tickets too, right?
Skeptical Esther Lynn strikes.
No. Yeah, I mean, I think And it certainly sounded like 57,000 people.
Yeah, I thought, and just to speak about the scale of this event, and the Submission Radio lads talked about this on our preview show. I actually noticed while I was in there that people were trying to start Reaper chants, and the sound was hitting the other side of the arena, and people just
1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1.
How rude.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Some amazing counting
Okay.
on this.
Do you want to chat on the
what a display of counting we're getting here now in Melbourne.
Okay. And would you like a check on the questions?
What was the audio back?
Hey, 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 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5
Not ours.
6 7 8 9 10. Okay, great.
Now, back to me. We're expecting Dan Hooker next. I said already, I think it was a masterclass. Come here, you were right there actually. I'm sorry, Esther is trying to work, but I keep on interrupting her. Paulo Costa in Israel had a fantastic bit of heat afterwards there.
Yeah.
When I was marching out the arena trying to get my spot here, Costa looked like he was trying to actually go in and get into the octagon, but security wouldn't let him. Did you see anything else?
Yeah, no, security was blocking him. So right away, I guess Eric is blocking him from getting up there, right? And then also security was blocking him because he was sitting actually right next to Adesanya's family.
So Adesanya comes out here. We can see the image here on Twitter of Adesanya flipping him the double boards. Was that nearly immediately after the finish?
No, he celebrated first. He did. I'm not gonna pretend to know what he did.
Okay.
He did some movements, did some cool stuff, then jumped on the cage, then flipped him off.
There we go. He prioritised his flipping off at the end of his celebration, which is nice. But I believe he called him a Ricky Martin lookalike, or a fat Ricky Martin lookalike is why we describe
Bloated, yeah.
Bloated.
Bloated, or was it balloon? Maybe it was bloated. I can't remember if it was bloated or balloon, or inflated.
Yeah, maybe
it was
something
inflated.
like that.
Something of
He's a
along
better
that line.
grasp of words than us, let's be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. Ricky Martin, and then he said, busted.
Well, there we have it. It's all very sinister. That's a classic matchup. Two strikers. I mean, I think everybody's going to be favouring Adesanya after that, to be honest. But Paulo Costa surprised me against Romero. There's no doubt about that. A big L unit of a man. But can he go the 5 rounds? I mean, that would have to be the plan, right? Take him in the deep water. A guy who carries around that type of muscle mass, you'd imagine that would be a difficult ask for him to fight for 25 minutes. What a story for City Kickboxing today as well, Esther.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you happen to know what the results of the last kickboxing match last night was?
unfortunately, yes, I spoke to Eugene. He lost that one.
Oh,
So
okay.
they had 2 fights, so they went 1-on-1. We just left after a female fighter. I forget what weight division it was in.
Megan Hansen. I don't remember what weight class she was in.
Yeah, she had just won a decision, and that was the last fight we saw before we went. But I was speaking to Eugene briefly today, and he told me he was coaching on Friday night at an MMA event, Saturday at a Muay Thai event, and then obviously Sunday here with Adesanya, Hooker, and Riddell. And I mean, well, all 3 of them win, and Riddell puts on a fight that everybody was really talking about earlier on in the night.
Yeah.
Then Hooker puts on the performance of his life, and Adesanya becomes the undisputed middleweight champion. I mean, I'm sure he's had worse days at the office, right?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I wanted to actually go to that MMA event on Friday too, just because we're here. You might as well cover everything in the city.
They mean that, by the way, everything. They would cover everything. They want to be all over this.
But I just actually couldn't find the information.
See that Australian MMA scene, sort yourself out. We need some better directions on that regional scene. But yeah, I feel like last night I was watching back the guys' post-fight show with Ariel back from 193, and the talk that night was the crowd really didn't have a hugely enjoyable time up until the main event, I guess. But I think it's a completely different story tonight, right? I mean, there was a lot of amazing fights on this card, right?
Yeah, really different. Obviously, they were disappointed with the Tuivasa Spivak result because their guy lost.
It was a good fight.
Still a good fight. And Lima Chumo was what I thought the fight would be. But I mean, De Castro Tafa just started the pay-per-view off wild.
Yeah, tremendous fashion. My God.
Face first into the floor. So, and actually, I thought Jake Matthews' solid win right before. The fact that the Australian fighters did pretty well, did well beforehand, or the Australasia fighters
Kept the attention of the crowd up.
Yeah. They had people to cheer for, and they did well. So, I'm sure they would have liked to have seen more just international UFC stars, but.
You ain't getting that now. Not after you've broken the record, guys. Come on.
But they represented well.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
No, definitely. They absolutely did. I'm just going to have a quick look out here. I wonder if John Jones has tweeted anything. That's my question to myself at the moment.
Good to know. Good to find out, actually.
Yeah, let me have a look for you guys who are already probably tweeting, retweeting that it's happening. No.
John Jones is not good.
No, he has not said anything. And why would he? Why would he add any shine to this situation? But I mean, with Dana White's already talking about this. I believe it was an article by either Steve Morocco or Damon Martin that we had out the other day when I woke up. And Dana White's already talking about what a huge fight Jones and Adesanya would be. And it's kind of annoying that every time somebody wins a belt in this organisation, we're already onto the champ thing straight away. I actually quite like Habib's take that he's going to be just the champion of this division. I'm going to dominate this division. That's what it should be about, really. The moving up in weight class should only be reserved for a completely dominant champion, as far as I'm concerned. So, obviously, a fight like Adesanya and Jones is going to compel a lot of interest, but I don't know why we would just wouldn't wait for a bit for that. This Costa fight is going to be electric. What about Cannonier as well? Just putting Hermansen out of the equation just a few weeks ago. So I think there's lots of compelling fights to make. It feels like a completely different division than it was just a couple of years ago. So that's a really exciting thing. And look, I really doubt it's the last we're going to see of Robert Whittaker. He was out for quite a while. He comes up against one of the best strikers in MMA at the moment. And, he loses via knockout, but he's far from finished. I really believe that. And you can see how much support he has out here. He means a lot to these people. So, I think we'll see him again.
Yeah, it was such a long time since he had last fought, and even in your interview with Eugene Berman, he had said that you really don't want anyone to have to do this after so long. So I think that he'll be fine. What did he say? He was only 28. Is he really only 28?
Wow, that's put me on the spot there, Esther. Let me Google that. Robert Whittaker, he could be. I mean, he looks great. He looks better than I do, and I'm 32. Yeah, he is only 28.
Holy moly. Okay, yeah, so he said in the cage, I'm only 28. I'm not going anywhere. And so I remember looking at him, I was like, oh, you're right. I forgot how young he had started.
Yeah, he was so young as a welterweight when he was fighting there at the start, yeah. It's incredible. I mean, it's got to be hard when you compare. I know this is what you were talking about already with our conversation with Eugene earlier in the week. The difference between Israel's frantic activity. It's the last person you want to come in against, really, isn't it? Even though he had that war with Gaslam 6 months ago, it's only been 18 months since this guy debuted in the UFC. And he's one of the biggest stars in the organisation. I'm not being highfalutin by saying that. That's accurate, isn't it? He is one of the biggest stars in the organisation.
Yeah, that is accurate, and it seems like that's how it goes, though. Once someone starts going up, it's a little bit, kind of has to go faster, right? You like Connor or whatever, you
Dude,
can't.
never heard of him.
It just seems like the slow and steady just doesn't really win over the fans the same way as a wave, right? So.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. What time is it now for you guys back home? It would be.
That's your doing work.
I'm sorry. Here comes Casey to give out to me. He hit me there, by the way, and I hope we got that on video because the beatings have been stopped all week. But how are you, sir?
Potato.
There we go again. We've yet to get the potato mania just yet. We're still so early here, so it's only 4:30 local time. But how was it back here? How did you enjoy the main event?
Okay, so I sat in the same exact spot to watch Rousey versus Holm, and I kind of had that same feeling, you know, not in the sense of the upset feeling, but I mean a lot of people thought this was an upset, but it was just I'm just like I was just seeing next level shit out there, just next level. That's all.
He is one of those guys. Like I remember when Connor came along too.
But I wasn't surprised either.
No, you had been saying this all week. To be fair.
And yeah, in the same sense, like I actually did. I picked Holly over Ronda. Not in that sense. Not in that I thought it was gonna be actually a boring fight, but I did pick Izzy's second round knockout. I thought the first round kind of went as I thought it was gonna go, and then and it finished it.
What I was gonna say there was, like, you know, when McGregor first showed up on the scene, and when he was fighting and when he was talking, it seemed like everybody else just seemed like they were from a different generation, and this guy was like a Martian. Nearly dropped in, and that's what Adesanya feels like now, right?
Oh yeah, I get that. It's just like
everyone's slightly.
He just broke the code or something. I don't know. He just he has a cheat code or something. And it's like he has a game genie, or and no one else has one. You know, he has infinite lives or something. Like he has just there's different physics for him.
You and Esther have been around this game longer than anyone, and when you see a guy like Behrman, who's had a fantastic 3-0 run tonight, we know he had other activity all week. Is it fair for us to be getting excited about this man and considering one of the best in the world at the moment?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Because it's not just you can tell it's not just Izzy, it's his camp, and obviously Izzy is a special athlete, and is it Behrman or Behrman? Behrman is just is maximizing his potential in mixed martial arts, at least, and and I think just like how when I guess when Jackson Wink was at its heyday, when they had like Rashad, GSP, John Jones, just like they were just ahead of the game as far as coaching. I think Behrman right now, him and his crew out in New Zealand are, I don't know what it is, they're doing something different out there, but it's working, and they're a step ahead of everyone right now.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes in this, like when you see all these teammates, sometimes I feel like it's manufactured, the kind of support element, but you could tell from that clip the UFC released earlier of Adesanya and Hooker watching Riddell get his first win. Amazing emotion in that footage, right?
That's great stuff. I mean, use the UFC tagline, as real as it gets. That's just friends, teammates, just enjoying their brother's success. Yeah. And they're with them. My favorite part in the little video they released, is at one point, I can't tell what they're watching, but every fighter slips to the side at the same time. Because obviously, it's like, oh, there's such fighters, like everyone moves to the side and slips.
I reckon they're watching Riddell slip to the left.
Yeah, and they're all just doing the same thing, they're just naturally. I didn't see the storyline. I saw Adesanya's storyline. I saw that, but the city boxing storyline in New Zealand. Just much like this random city in New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's like, what the hell? How do all the greatest mixed martial artists come from this little desert town in New Mexico? And here we are, this team in this island in the Pacific.
It's crazy.
Just crazy, yeah. I mean, the only city I even know in New Zealand is Auckland. Yeah. Are they based in Auckland? I have no idea.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure.
No, they were, because I think that's the story that Israel's parents always tell, that he just walked in one day, he said, I'm moving to Auckland, I'm going to be a professional fighter. So a lot of activity going on here. Everyone's jumping up and down.
Yeah, sorry, I got really hungry.
No, not you.
No, you're allowed to do whatever you want, Esther. Okay. But the rest of them. But it's this event a far more enjoyable event, you'd say, than 193. We were talking about it earlier, where that was bringing a lot of casual fans in. It was probably a lot of people's first impressions of MMA ever, so it wasn't like they were really invested in the skills or the storylines in the earlier fights.
The first event here was definitely, it was they wanted to see a celebrity fight. At that point, Ronda was so big, she was a celebrity at that point. So it was like, oh, this celebrity is fighting at the Etihad Arena. This time, these were fighters. They were like, okay, we're going to see the best fighters. And it happened to be just, the timing worked out great for the UFC, just, an Aussie versus Kiwi. So, and it definitely felt more of a sporting event. And that's why there was much more interest in the prelim fights. If you 193, it was just flat the whole night. Just people were tolerating the fights, waiting to get to the main event. This was actual excitement to get to the main event. So it was a great event. It really was. But this is also back-to-back events at this arena where I would say 90% of the arena left disappointed, but still had a good time.
Yeah. We were just saying that earlier. Like, is this the wrong way to convince the UFC to put on a better card next time around when you go in and you basically get the world record attendance?
Yeah, and that's they're a for-profit company, so they go, okay, we gave them this card. Let's see what slightly lesser card. And that when we say lesser card, it's not because the fighters suck or it's not exciting fights. It's only because of the stakes involved and the significance to the actual rankings and title shots and things like that. For this card, like of the how many fights were there? Whatever, 12, 13 fights. There was really only, outside the championship fight, Hooker and the Anderson fight were really the only fights that really had any implications within the next 2 fights or something like that, with top 10 fighters. So everything else was just, guys fighting,
Yeah. It's interesting, right, with Costa cage side there was a good bit of heat as I was leaving the arena. I could see it all popping off down there. And there's also the Jones situation. Like, the UFC be mad not to just do the Costa fight, right? I feel like we're like, the guy hasn't even...
Adesanya?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that's Jones, Izzy.
It's a slow burner, leave it in the background.
Let that burn a little bit. And
let it burn a good bit, though, because I feel like as soon, if Adesanya was to get through Costa, they'd be like, let's do the Jones immediately. And
this is a fight. Yeah, it's forcing it right now, but the seeds have been planted, and I think right now, and I think Jones has some. Well, who's Jones fighting? Is Jones fighting? I don't know what's going on with John Jones.
He is, isn't he? I just can't.
It
was meant to be Jan Blachowicz, but it's not.
It was going to be Jan, but then isn't Jan's fighting Jacare.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then if you think about it, really, right? There's a lot more contenders emerging at middleweight than there is at light heavyweight. Like, who's going to need who more when that fight eventually does come around? Who's going to be the real star power in that situation when that fight eventually does happen? Say if we do let it breathe for a while. Just looking at Adesanya tonight, it's like a star is born, right?
Oh yeah, I think actually Jones is. If Jones isn't careful, he's gonna suddenly be the B-side on that.
Yeah.
I believe that. And if Adesanya rolls through Costa, which I think he will,
he's a far more technical fighter, right? And it's gonna be power versus technique to a certain degree, right?
Yeah, I just think Izzy's a level. He's a different level than Costa.
Different gravy.
Yeah, different gravy. Different. A finer potato.
Well, now you're speaking my language.
But you want to see those fights, just like when Anderson went on his run, he fought the Leches. Guys were obviously good middleweights, but he proved the difference between A level versus A plus level. And I think like Costa's at this point, it's like a B plus A level middleweight, but Izzy's just a different level.
Riddell, the way he fought, it was nearly exactly as Eugene Behrman told me and you the other day, wasn't it? It was pretty much exactly what he said it would be.
Dude, that third round might have been for just the first 2 rounds. Even he said it competitive, but nothing you would go, hey, everyone, check out, watch this fight. That third round came. I don't know if it just kind of came out of nowhere.
It's
Just
like a
got-
religious experience in here.
Yeah, like
people screaming
like-
at the TV.
Yeah, so we're back here in the media room, which is only right outside the concourse where the arena is. So we can hear everything in the arena, the cheers, buffer, and everything. And we're watching it back here. And Megan Anderson has just won, and she's about to start her media scrum. But then that third round starts, and everyone just Megan, her camp, everyone just looks at the TV like, oh crap, let's watch this. Forget
That's
about
exactly
me.
what
Yeah.
happened. They were waiting to the end of the fight.
Yeah, like, I want to watch this, and it's really fun. It's really fun watching actual fighters who destroy people's faces for a living go like, oh, this is too much. They gotta stop the fight. Oh boy.
Yeah, and that was all happening.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. I noticed the coaches were like, oh, they gotta stop this fight, and Megan's all like, he's still defending. He's still in there.
That's true.
And I've always loved that about. Actually, I hate. Giant pet peeve is when fights get stopped and the fighter complains and people go, oh, that's a sore loser. No, if you're a fighter worth the damn, unless you're like in a coffin, like you're like, nope, I can still go. And that's how Megan was. I know. He was just looking at Riddell, going like, or look at Riddell's opponent, going like, he's still good. He's alive still.
In all the fights you've covered, how many punches from the knees to their opponent have you seen? Punching a guy in the face while you're on your knees, I should say.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm really sad that I missed that photo.
Oh, it was
Because
wild.
well, it was the wrong side, you know, because he was right hook, right? So so I missed because it was just his shoulder in the shot, but that was crazy. I was like, oh.
So PR just said Mr. Whitaker is coming up here in about 5 minutes. It's only 5 more minutes of my stumbling voice.
What the hell's happening with Hooker?
How do they want to come together?
They're probably doing the ESPN. There's an ESPN desk. Yeah, so they're going to bring they're probably all together. But no, go to UFC Fight Pass and look up. It's an Elite XC card, and it's Eddie Alvarez's first fight in Elite XC, and that's how he knocked his opponent out from the knees. They were scrambling, and they both scrambled, and he knocked him out from his knee. I don't think he knocked him out cold, but that led to the TKO finish. Just kind of wait. Did this go to decision or was it finished?
Decision, yeah.
Oh,
we all thought it was a finish.
He survived it. Oh yeah. I remember at the time too. We thought it was a finish, but it was much like the end of the first round. We thought the fight was over for a moment.
Yeah, you couldn't even. The crowd was so loud when that punch landed that you couldn't even hear the bell. So we didn't hear the bell, and then Izzy just starts walking away. We're like, oh, it's over, and then we're like, no.
Like if that round is 5 minutes, 5 minutes and 5 seconds, that doesn't.
It was really exciting just to watch the difference in Adesanya then in the second, knowing that like I've just hurt him and now he goes out headhunting.
It felt very Anderson Silva-esque in the sense that the first round, he's just testing his range, feeling what you got, seeing how much power you got. And I was like, when I saw Rob throwing like bombs, like just really trying to knock out Izzy in that first round and just missing by like, a foot. I was like, ooh, this is Izzy's just like, he's just calculating, at that point. It's like, that's a bad sign to me. Rob came out he kind of played Izzy's game at the beginning.
Ran straight into him basically. Like.
Yeah, and eventually Izzy got those rolls better and just, he rolls and throws that little left hook he threw.
So he's rolling, rolling with the punch as they come in. So it actually looks dramatic as they come in, but doesn't really do a lot. As you see, he was countering perfectly as he was hitting.
And that was my. So you watched it. I watched it from back here.
Yeah.
So I watched it as everyone else watched it at home. You saw it from press row. You got them. You told me.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Jeez, I thought Whitaker could have won the first round.
You thought he could have, or you thought?
Yeah.
Well, minus the last punch before the last.
Oh
punch.
yeah, of course, yeah. When I was in there, I guess the crowd are going crazy every time Rob is going near him. He's disappearing behind the post sometimes, and you can't really see everything. So that's why I went straight up to you when I came out. I was like, what happened there in the first? Because I think
know what, you get the hometown feel. So every punch that Izzy's rolling is, the crowd's over excited. But so that's why there's 3 judges. So depending on your angle. If you can't really tell if the crowd cheers, it feels like it lands.
Yeah.
But it doesn't,
you don't even think about it. You're not even processing. Did it or didn't? You're just going, must have done it.
So, but from the angle on TV, so the crowd isn't as loud on the TV. Yeah, I could see that it just wasn't landing. And to me, Rob was, even if you gave Rob, if that first round was only 4 minutes 55 seconds, you could still give that round to Rob because it was a close round. but I felt the momentum and the energy was all on Izzy's side, no matter what. Because I thought Rob was just burning a lot of energy and basically showing his hand.
It was interesting to watch the interaction between Behrman and Adesanya just after that shot lands, because he just walks in as cool, like as if he's walking in the park, little smile on his face, and went, gave him a thumbs up, and like it was like they didn't even talk for a few minutes, and then he started talking, and you're just like this is that casual for you, like this is the biggest fight of maybe your team's whole life, and it's going exactly how you want it to, and it's just little thumbs up and back to.
That's one thing. It's like, and that's just only a handful of people in the world are gonna be able to experience that feeling of to be in an arena, and like I feel like I'm more nervous than those guys in there. You know, I'm just like, you don't know what's gonna happen. You know, it's like, you know, you kind of in your mind you think what's gonna happen, but now you go, let's see it. You know, and like watch like Izzy, man, he's all doing a little dance routine, doing this kind of.
He was doing a dance routine on the way, and I'm like, how did he even? Come on, that's insane. That's also a nod to his star power, isn't it? Like that he when he was thinking about this fight, he wasn't thinking about just beating Robert Whittaker. He was thinking about, I need to put on a show from the second these people see me on TV tonight. You know.
And what works for Izzy is like, I don't feel he's putting on a show. I feel like he would walk into a sparring session like that, in a sense, you know, like
we walk into a supermarket like that.
Yeah, like if it was an option, like what I can just walk in, I can go get some milk and have these guys come with me. Hell yeah, you know, and like, you know, whatever he does, you know.
That was Casey just did a perfect example of the dance moves. All right, we're gonna. Robert Whittaker is in the house. See you shortly.
Oh, Rob, we heard the sigh and the first couple words there. So, an amazing event, an amazing fight. I mean, this was a special night. Certainly, you did not get the result you wanted, but what are the emotions like for you right now?
Like this, obviously, I'm disappointed, you know. But I took the fight to him. Me and him are two of the best strikers in the world, you know, and it was tit for tat. And then I got caught. It happens, you know. He beat me tonight. But I'm 28. This is my first loss in the division. You know, trust me when I say I'm not going anywhere. I am fortunate enough that I didn't leave the octagon with any injuries, so I look to get back in there and get back to work.
The opening round, it looked like it was your round until you got caught right at the very end. Can you talk about how the fight was playing out and kind of what was going through your head? Like, hey, this is working. Hey, I can get this guy. What was it?
Yeah, I think I surprised him. I think I surprised him with my striking because I took the fight to him. I wasn't in awe of his striking. I was very confident in my own, and I was having great success with my own. I need to work on that check hook defense. You know, it is what it is though. We went out there and we put our hearts on, and it happens. You know, when, honest to God, you put two of the best strikers in the world together, that's what happens. Someone's going to get caught. You know, and unfortunately, tonight, it was me.
It sounds like he wants Paulo Costa next. Paulo was there. It sounds like that's the fight to make. Do you feel that that's the right next move, or do you feel like there's potentially a case for a rematch?
Obviously, I'm always down for a rematch. But I'm on the market. I'm here to fight. I'm back to work. I felt great out there. I felt great tonight. I felt great. This is the best I've ever been. Honest to God, this is the best I've ever been. And it just wasn't my night. I got caught, and that's what happens.
And last thing for me, Rob, of course, he's got this undefeated record. He's such a unique fighter. What do you think it's going to take to beat Adesanya, whether it be you or anybody else? I mean, what's it going to take to finally hand that guy his first L?
I'd like to see on another night us go at it again, you know, because I think I can do that. Honest to God, and that's what's so disappointing, I guess, is that I feel that I can beat him. I have the skill sets to beat him, but we clashed heads and I came off second best. You know, I got caught. And all hats off to him. You know, he's a great striker, and congratulations. But like I said, I'm going nowhere. I'm still one of the best fighters in the world. I've always claimed that title as one of the best in the world. And yeah, you know, I got the title once.
Rob, he probably made you miss a lot, made you miss more than we're used to seeing. How much of that was down to his evasiveness, or was your timing in any way off because of the long break you've had?
No, he's tricky to hit. He's tricky to hit. He's very tall and he's good at leaning back. He's he's tricky to hit. In saying that, I did hit him.
Yeah.
I did hit him, and I hurt him in those first rounds. In that first round, but it is what it is. You know, he's tricky to hit. I tried to hit him. You know, yeah, who knows?
You're probably not thinking too far ahead, but given that there've been such long gaps between your fights the last couple of years, would you like to get back into the octagon fairly quickly?
I didn't plan those long gaps. It's not like I have a calendar and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take from October till December off. Like, nah, it was injury. It's injury and illness that kept me from the octagon. But, you know, thank God I'm not injured. You know, I took the loss, I got clipped, but I'm healthy. I'm good. So I'm just going to go home and see my family. I'm going to get back to training. I'm going to go do my podcast. I'm going to do my GAP program. And I'm coming back. I'm coming back to work in a couple months.
In retrospect, was there anything you could have done differently or would have liked to have done differently?
Not get hit. You know what I mean? No, you know, I think, I honestly, I went out there and I displayed my heart and I showed my skill sets and I just came off second best tonight. You know, that's not to say it'll happen 2 times in a row. When you're fighting at this high caliber, at this level, every fight is on the line. You know, it's a tightrope. That's what a lot of the fans don't realise, that we're walking a tightrope out there and everybody can beat anybody. And tonight it wasn't my night, but tomorrow might be.
Can you tell us a little bit about the game plan coming in? We noticed you early on looked like charging in to try to close that distance and dealing with a fighter who is taller and has that long reach. Can you tell us a little bit about what the thinking was and what the strategy was for how to get in there and touch him?
Yeah, you can't hit him on the outside. You know, he's very long, he's very tall. I think with any guy trying to get in on a tall fighter has to close that gap. And I was having a lot of success doing so. I was hitting him. In the first round, I was hitting him. I was hurting him. I was doing work. I was doing damage. You know, I felt really good out there. I felt like I was controlling the fight. And then I just got caught.
Did you give any thought? People wondered beforehand, can you go in there and wrestle Adesanya? And that's one of the things people still wonder about him is can he stand up to somebody who can bring a good wrestling attack? Did you have that as part of the game plan? Like, hey, maybe look for a takedown if it's there?
Definitely. I work my wrestling religiously. I think there's a misconception that if I have good defensive wrestling, I don't have good offensive wrestling. But that's not true. I practice all wrestling. So, you know, it's in my arsenal. I just felt like I didn't need it. Like I said, I was having success with the strikes. And, you know, I was doing well until I wasn't. That's just how it happens. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
A true class act, Robert Whittaker, coming out to discuss his loss with the media. Does not have to do that, I should underline. Did not have to speak after the fight either, but nonetheless came out here. Seems incredibly defiant. Says he wants that rematch. And you know, I really believe him when he says he's going to go back and work on things. We've seen him do it before. Why wouldn't he do it again? We've just been told that Dan Hooker is here, so we're going to get ready for that one. Enjoy.
Okay, we're just still waiting for Team City Boxing. Waiting for the champ and Dan Hooker to show up. So let's go through these wonderful comments on our live chat on our YouTube page. A lot of Joe Rogan stuff. Oh, R.I.P. Joe Rogan. What a shame. So what are you guys doing? Are you guys just... Who are you... Are you guys talking to each other? Or what is going on here? So it is currently 4:55 p.m. local time. Just sitting around in a stadium in Melbourne. Very comfortable chairs. Simple yet comfortable. I like it. Very sad news, according to the comments. Very sad news about Joe Rogan. God, you guys are very weird. New Zealand party up? Sure. Okay, this is going way too fast. I can't read it. Oh, how's Melbourne treating you? It's been pretty fantastic. We saw some Muay Thai fights last night, which Eugene Berman had, I think, 2 fighters on. We couldn't stay around for the main event, but one of his fighters did win. A young lady won earlier in the night. It was a very fun event. I would not say your name. Weird comment. No, you're weird. So a few people are asking, and I'm sure he's going to get that question in the post-presser, is Izzy versus John Jones. I'll have to admit, yesterday, I didn't really care too much about that. But after watching tonight's performance, I am slightly more interested. Now, should it be the next fight? Heck no. But I could see something if everyone keeps winning. Something at the end of 2020, near early 2021. That might be. I might give it a year to brew, year and a half. That might be something fun. Oh, no. Oh, here we got Mr. Hooker. Goodbye.
Dan, congratulations on the victory tonight. It was pretty thorough and complete victory for you this evening. I'm curious how the fight played out versus what you were expecting.
Yeah, he's a super tough guy, man. He was taking a lot of really hard shots, but I'm very happy with my performance. You know, it was a very dominant win, 30-26 on one of the judges' scorecards. So can't argue with that. And really, the performance was due to, you know, leading into the fight, people were just saying we're just a couple of tough guys going to go out there and brawl pretty much. And then he set me off. He said he was he was going to go out there and prove he was the better fighter and the classier fighter and had more skills, and that kind of put a little chip on my shoulder, you know, because I think that I'm one of the most skillful guys out there. So it put a chip on my shoulder, and I didn't want to go out there and just get into a wild brawl. I wanted to go out there and prove that I was the better fighter and the more skillful.
Pretty fantastic night for your team as well, though your buddies took your bonus money from you. But I'm just curious, I mean, what's going on there? I mean, you guys are becoming a powerhouse gym there. I mean, what's the secret to the success right now?
Our coaches, 100%. It's the coaches that you see in the corner. It's the coaches you see behind the scenes and the work that they've done. And really that comes down to the history of combat sport in New Zealand, you know, and the coaches that we've had. You know, we're so secluded, but we've been competing at a very high level and punching above our weight for a very long period of time. So there's a lot of knowledge on those islands down in the corner of the world.
You had a pretty phenomenal call out ready to go afterwards. Unfortunately, Dustin has already taken to Twitter and said, yeah, not interested. I'm interested in fighting Connor. Maybe you can go fight Cowboy in the meantime. So I'm curious, does fighting Cowboy interest you, or do you think you'll keep pursuing this Dustin thing and see if the UFC will put it together?
He's gonna fight who?
He wants to fight Connor, yeah.
If he wants to sit around chasing leprechauns, that's his own problem. If he wants a real fight, that'll take it. He knows where to find me.
Dan, congratulations on the win. Obviously, a lot of support from the Australians and the Kiwis here. With a win like that, are you excited to headline a card in New Zealand next year? What would that mean for you to headline that card?
Yeah, I feel I'm a 5-round fighter, so I wanted to take the full 15 minutes and really showcase that. I felt like if I had another 2 rounds, you know, that I would have stopped them for sure. With another 10 minutes in there, picking them apart, that would have stopped him. I wanted to prove that I'm ready for a 5-round fight. You know, you can't go in there and just blow these top 10, top 5 guys out of the water. You know, top 15, and then these unranked guys, you can go out there and do that. You know, but they're so tough. This skill level so high that you have to match that. So that's what I was there. I was out there tonight to prove that I want a 5-round. I want a main event, 25 minutes, man.
Obviously, Al is a great fighter. I mean, you've had some great wins before, but what do you think this does for you now, beating a classy guy like Al? He's a guy that a guy like Khabib had trouble putting away, and you put on such a dominant performance. What do you think that says about you and where you belong in the division?
Yeah, he is. That's the number 6 ranked guy in the world. He fought for a title fight 2 ago. You know, that's why Dustin was on my hit list. You know, I wanted to follow Khabib's last 2 fights. I wanted to take Ally Aquina, then I wanted to fight Dustin because he fought him last.
Just quickly, there was a video that surfaced on the UFC Twitter page of you guys watching Brad Riddell do his thing in the back, and it looked like a pretty emotional time. It was you, Israel, and the City Kickboxing team. I'm just wondering, what was that like, being in the back watching Brad fight? Did it take any sort of focus away from your fight? I mean, it looked like you guys were jumping around, sort of. It was almost the fight before the fight in a lot of ways.
Yeah. We create energy. You know, a lot of people. You know, they shy away from things, or they don't want teammates on the same card because they don't want it to take away from their energy or drain their energy. But what we have, you know, we had 2 fighters fight last night on a show here in Melbourne, and then the night before that had another fighter fight there, and it just. Our coaches, Eugene, just stacked the weekend, you know, keep us busy as possible. This is what we do, man. This is what we do at City Kickboxing. This is what our coaches do. So we wanted to... Energy is created, you know. So that didn't take away from anything, watching Brad there and getting excited and jumping around, because we're not putting on a show for the cameras. None of this we're putting on a show. That's just how we feel, and that hyped us up for our fights, you know, and I'm sure Israel watching my fight hyped him up for his fight. So energy is created. That's kind of our philosophy there.
Dan, those leg kicks you were chopping with Al really hurt him. You were imposing his will. Was there any point in the fight where you realized that he wasn't going to come and get you and that you had this in the bag?
He was so tough, and he was still very dangerous. You know, the times that I did go in there and attempt to put on a little more pressure, he planted his feet and he let me know that he was still there and he was still in the fight. he definitely let me know that. At no point was he really creating opportunities, or at no point did he look for a way out in by any means necessary. He was there to fight. Even at the end when he was coming forward, he wasn't just wildly coming forward and throwing punches at me, man. He was very calculated with what he did, and he wasn't leaving. He still made sure that he wasn't leaving any openings.
If there's a long line when you guys get back to the city kickboxing gym, months wait for enrollment, do you want to take any of that compensation?
No, I actually have my own gym in Auckland and New Zealand as well, so we got more than enough space for everyone.
What's up, Dan? I just wanted to ask about that call out. It was pretty aggressive. You're not generally that aggressive when you're asking for another fight. Was there anything behind that?
Oh, my post fight's always pretty aggressive. You get hyped up in the moment. There's a lot of adrenaline. I think I have the potential to do that a lot. I think it's just people who haven't kind of figured out how to trigger me yet. I think the guys at the gym kind of know how to trigger me and get me going, so they try to keep away from it. But I'm sure at some stage people are going to figure out how to trigger me, and you'll start seeing a lot more of that.
And you showed tonight that you can actually win on the scorecards. I think that's only your second win by judges' scorecard. Is that sort of a way of you showing, I'm here, this is what I can do, sort of a breakout fight in a way like that?
Yeah, I feel like it did answer a lot of questions in my game with the grappling as well. It answered a lot of questions. Ally Quinn is a very strong wrestler, and he couldn't get me down. He couldn't hold me down, and I feel like I dominated the grappling exchanges in that fight as well. So I feel like it answered a lot of questions.
Dan, you've been around for a long time, especially in the local scene, mate, and I want you to try and tell me the difference between your first walk in MMA and the one that you did today.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So my first fight, mate, we're going back 2009 when I made my debut, early 2009. At a YMCA in Auckland, for a pro MMA fight, and there was only not too many people there, and cage was falling apart and things, and then to see the growth of the sport is incredible. Even going back to my first UFC fight, the amount of attention that was around that, the amount of eyes, and that comes down to Israel. That comes down to his ability to kind of capture that mainstream audience and get people's eyes and attention. So I feel like everyone in the UFC and everyone of us fighters owes him a lot of credit for that.
And in my opinion, mate, that was your best performance to date. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch the film, but I felt very comfortable in there. I felt like I was doing very well, but I'll always find things to work and develop and improve my game for sure.
And Dan, just at the end of the fight, I saw there was a really cool moment between you and your family. You were sort of walking out of the octagon, and your partner and your child were there, and you were in front of a packed capacity stadium. Just talk to us about what that moment was like when you were able to see them for the first time after beating the toughest challenge of your career.
Yeah, so when I was there, at the prep point, I kind of seen her and caught my eye, and I looked and she looked away because she didn't want to distract me, which is good of her. But yeah, that moment will go down because she hasn't been in a fight since the last show in Auckland, which is 2.5 years. I've been fighting on the road, fighting in America. So to come back home and fight in front of a supportive crowd and have my family there meant the world to me, to have her and my baby there. And I'm just thankful that they were cage side, because I told the UFC very early on, if I knock him out, I'm diving out of the crowd, and if you put it up the back, I'm not coming back. So that's why I was very happy that they had a cage side. So if that would have happened, she would have been nice and close, and I could have got my post fight.
All right, thanks, Dan.
Now, great stuff from Dan Hooker there. Interesting answer there when he was talking about the fact that he feels like he need to outclass Al. You know, he does tend to be a very finish-driven fighter. Like, he seems to be always going for broke nearly at some stages. So to see that mature performance, and for my money, the best performance of his UFC career, is very interesting. Maybe his future opponents shouldn't make out that they're better technicians than him, I guess. Just like to apologise to all of our Irish listeners for his comments about leprechauns. I'll let you away with it this time, Dan, but only this time. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of Poirier versus Hooker, to be honest, and it seems like all the talk about McGregor's next move is pretty much around Frankie Edgar, to be honest. Everyone from his camp keeps saying his name. That's a good sign that that is the fight they're looking for. So maybe for Poirier, it's just it's going to leave him in a bad spell of inactivity if he's chasing that fight. We've seen that happen to guys before who chased down that McGregor fight. But certainly a huge performance by Dan Hooker here. I guess all we're waiting on now is Israel Adesanya, but I'm sure he is doing many different obligations back there before we're going to see him. So I'm not too sure how long it's going to be, but I would not be surprised if we are in for a bit of a wait, ladies and gentlemen.
So it is 5:15 local time, 5:15 p.m., and we are still waiting for the new undisputed UFC middleweight champion, Izzy. And he should be coming anytime now. So let me see these wonderful comments on our YouTube chat. Okay, now everyone, be honest. Coming into this fight tonight, who did you have winning? 1 million. Oh, I'd like to thank all of you. 1 million subscribers.
We did it.
1
All me. All Peter Carroll's hard work. Nobody else's.
Nobody else. Please send me the trophy, you two.
What is it you do again, Casey?
So 1 million subscribers. So, Mr. YouTube. I'm sorry, Mr. Tube. We would like our trophy.
We'd like our YouTube money now, please.
Yeah. Just make it a check out to cash. Okay, all you people are liars. I said, who were you picking to win the main event? Everyone's saying Izzy. That is a lie. A lie. When we did our survey on our Instagram page, we had 70% of you weirdos saying Whitaker was going to win. And what are you telling me? So it's just all the Whitaker fans are on Instagram and all the Izzy commenters are on YouTube? Is that how this works?
Yes. Tell them to go back and look at our article we put out with Izzy, because everybody was underneath it going, this kid's gonna get smoked. What's he talking about? He's gonna die out there.
Oh, gotta go.
Fucking relax, man. Relax. Huh? That's all right. I like it here. Yeah. Cool. Carry on.
So, Israel, congratulations on the big win. Now that you've had a few moments to sort of let it all settle in, how does it feel to be the UFC middleweight champion, undisputed?
I haven't had a shower yet. I haven't had my infamous thought-provoking shower yet. So right now, it's normal. It just feels like, feels like I'm still lucid dreaming. So you might see me do weird things just to see if I'm dreaming. But yeah.
Go ahead with the weird things. I was going to say
I
with
knocked
the
over that can before, so that was weird.
Yeah, with the title where you spoke about how the interim belt didn't really mean anything to you, and you kind of put it away in a box. This one you gave to your parents, Femi and Taiwo. Well, why did you decide to do that, and what was that moment like?
I mean, in Atlanta, because Eugene is the guy that built me up in this game to be the killer that I am. So I presented that to him. They created me, So without them, I wouldn't be possible. So. Yeah, the other belt, I put the New Zealand flag on it. So this belt, I'm going to put the Nigerian flag on it.
Just looking at the fight, how do you sort of reflect that on that one? And also, would you say this was one of the easiest fights when you compare some of the other ones you've had here?
Who did I tell? Like, it's probably one of my toughest tests, but I'll make it look easy. Who did I say that to? Yeah, exactly. I told you guys, I'll make it look easy. And, fuck, man, I don't know. Yeah. It's crazy. Like sometimes, like I have to pinch myself and just be like, like that really happened. We just did that. Yeah, it's crazy. Like you guys see me. Like you recognize Stars Submission Radio from the jump. So you saw me. You knew what my potential was. And I know you're Aussies. I know you guys like Whitaker as well. But I appreciate the love and support throughout the times because you guys still give us a platform.
Appreciate it. Would you say this was your star-breaking moment? People have sort of compared you to Conor McGregor and things like that with the entrance and obviously in the stadium.
No one is doing anything like I'm doing. This is a 60,000-seat arena. People, after seeing that entrance, I bet you the green-eyed monsters were like, I fucking hope this guy loses. I fucking hope. I'm sure some of you in here as well. Oh, this asshole. Look at him. Thinks he's a fucking man. I hope he loses. I hope he gets flatlined. Because that's just that. It's ingrained in us. It's this tall puppy syndrome. It's this jealousy that when you see someone shining, you feel like it takes away from your own shine. I'm like, look, I can't dim my shine just because some people feel uncomfortable. Everything went full circle tonight. That's with some of my day ones, my guys, not even day -5s, guys that I've known from way back. You know, Jay, I used to look up to him, you know, back in Rotorua. Jesse, I taught him how to dance, and now he's just taking it and run with it. And to have them, you know, set the tone for me and just have fun. And like I said, when I'm having fun, I'm the best in the world. So I was having fun. And when I saw him walk out, he was too intense. And you can't fake that shit. You can put your hoodie over your eyes and all you want. I can smell it's pheromones, you know, I can smell it off him. I was like, he's not with it. And he was doing the right moves, but there was no feeling behind it. So I saw everything coming. He hit me a few times, but like I don't like getting hit, because not that I'm a bitch or I'm not tough. I am, but it's not smart. But yeah, I just showed you guys I can take it and give it as well, apparently, because I have no knockout power and I got pillow hands. Boo-hoo.
2 more quick ones and then I'll pass the mic on. Just a couple of little things. There was a moment, I don't think it was broadcast, but Robert Whittaker, after you dropped him in between rounds or when the next one was starting, he winked at you. I'm wondering what was going through your mind when you saw that. And also, you wrote something.
I looked at him like after the round was about to start. He's looking at the TV. I was like, don't look there. Look at me. You got to worry about me right now. That's done. Like, that's what I was trying to say to him. Like, that's a moment past. Because I could have, like, rested my laurels and be like, oh, yeah, I dropped him. I'm going to rush him now. No. He's a beast. If I try and fight dumb and think like I'm going to go for the finish now, he could catch me and lay me the fuck out. So I was like, nah, don't focus on that. Focus on me. I'm your problem right now. Don't be looking at the TV. What, drop me? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
What did you write in your book when Bruce Buffer was introducing you?
When you talk about anime, you know, you ever heard about the anime called Death Note? Anyone? Hands up? Yeah, so he's the Grim Reaper, right? I have a Shinigami with me. And I just had to write his name because I was like, he's not going to last. I just wrote his name in a Death Note. And those who knows the rules of the Death Note, they know there's a certain time frame that after your name's written in the Death Note, the Shinigami will get you. So, yeah, it is what it is. And it happened as it's supposed to be.
Just last one. Obviously, you had that moment with Paul Acosta afterwards.
Oh, my bitch.
Yeah, is he definitely the next? Because you've talked about John Jones,
we'll see.
And when could we see that fight potentially?
I don't know. I have my people call their people. Right now, I'm Hollywood now, Esther. I'm Hollywood. Right now, I just nothing set in stone. I'm just feeling it. But I like that fight because the casuals, they're dumb. They see a beefed up beefcake like that and think, oh, that's the guy. I'm still all hype, by the way. I'm still all hype. Don't worry. I'm just the hype train. Yeah, so they'll see that and think that's the guy. That's the guy. They just want to see me lose, but they're going to be waiting for a long time.
Israel, I wanted to ask you about the motivation for that entrance. I mean, as you said, you know, it's going to bring on haters. There's no question about it. It's also giving you something else to think about and worry about other than, you know, a championship fight.
I told you, I'm a dancer. I'm an entertainer. Like, I don't have to worry about it. We came up with that on Wednesday. I tried to do it at the Silver fight in February, and the UFC were like, no, we can't have that. I was like, oh, fuck you then. And then this fight, this is my show. I'm headlining this bitch. So I was like, no, I'm going to do it my way or no way. Like, who else on this kind of stage is going to do that before they go and whoop some ass, you know? It's no one, I think James Tahuna is the only one that's ever done it from what I can remember with the Men in Black intro, and Anderson Silva did it in Pride with his Michael Jackson shit. But, like, I showed you guys, if I could sing, trust me, Justin Bieber wouldn't even have a job. But, you know, you don't want to hear me sing. But yeah, like, you got to realize this is the spectacle, man. This is a big stadium. I had to give them a show and set the tone. And there's no one like me, like no one.
As the fight was unfolding, talk about, you know, what you were seeing and what you thought. I mean, he was very aggressive coming after you, but it seemed like you were evading him pretty well. I mean, how was the fight unfolding, and what were you thinking?
I knew he was going to start fast, and I knew he falls over himself a lot, you know. And what makes him great, like my coach said, what makes him great makes him really vulnerable and susceptible to a lot of things. And there was a few shots I almost caught him with. There was one time he threw the oblique kick for like maybe the third time, and I used my counter that me and Carl Van Roon drilled like multiple times. It didn't hurt me, by the way. It looked like he hit me, but what I was doing is just bending my knee, not triple C, just like bringing it in so I can, like, you know, when someone's attacking you, take it away. So yeah, it didn't hurt me. My knee's fine. But yeah, I knew he was going to start fast, and I just had to take my time and slow cook him.
the end of round one, I think it was a little bit confusing for some people because it was so loud we couldn't really hear a bell or a horn or anything. Did you know what was happening then in round one? Did you think the fight was over?
I thought it was over for a split second, but then I kind of, I don't know if I heard, I think I heard the clapper, so I was like, okay, maybe it's end of the round. But because when the referee jumped in, I thought it was over because I saw his eyes slow, like I saw it happen, and I was like, oh shit. But next time I'm not going to do that. I held my fist up, but that's stupid. I should have punched him till the referee actually jumped on him. But yeah, I guess the ref saved him in that one. But maybe it was the end of the round. I don't know. I have to watch the tape again and properly assess it. As for round two, yeah, like I said, he was looking at the screen, and I was like, no, you got to worry about me.
And as you were celebrating, it looked like you scaled the fence. I know you said your options are open right now, but it looked like you had a message for Paulo Costa. What was said there, and why take that moment to address him? I mean, rather than just enjoy it yourself.
And I enjoyed it myself. I definitely enjoyed it, but you know, it sells the next fight. It sells the next fight a little bit, but at the same time, he's a bitch, and he's my bitch, and I want to make him my bitch, so that's why I did what I did.
You talked before this fight about envisioning it, seeing it before it happens, and then when it happens, it's like a memory. Is this what you saw?
Deja vu. You can, those who were in here setting up last night or yesterday evening, I came here with my crew and we rehearsed the entrance, and I did it probably about 4 times or 5 times, and I did the whole walkout, and I visualized everything, and I did the whole prep point thing, and I stepped in the cage and I claimed the space, and I did that about 4 or 5 times, and I also did the win, the victory. Like just visualizing it, and I imagined the whole place lit up with people and loud cheerings and boos and people by the side what they're saying to you, and just practicing it. And amazingly, when I got to the prep point again before the walkout, it just felt even more deja. There's levels to this shit, man. It just felt like, man, I just did this shit yesterday, which I did. So I was so relaxed. You saw me doing the Carlton when he was coming out. That was a nice song. I like that track. I was relaxed, and I could just see he was too tense. But some people like to be that way when they fight. That's cool. I just like to flow. I like to have fun with it.
A lot of times when you're talking, you seem like you're talking the same language as the fight fans and the fight media, talking about the casuals and Triple C bending the knee and stuff like that.
I'm just a fan at the end of the day. I'm just a fan. I've said this. I can rattle off some shit from back in the day, but I'm just a fan. I just don't I've never, ever since they fucked me up on EA Sports and made my body like Chad Mendez, I've never touched that game. I've never. You need to get me in the studio, do the proper scan, get my proper question mark kicks and everything. So I don't fuck with that game. All I do is play it in real life. Yeah, but I'm just a fan. I'm just a casual fanny troll.
It seems like a lot of fighters, they seem to prefer to stay away. Like they don't want to be reading all the websites or looking at all the memes on Instagram. And you seem like the exact opposite. I mean, do you think that there's a reason for that?
It's only because it's fight week. You got a lot of time on fight week, so it's fun, and that's what makes my thing on Instagram. What do you call it? My engagement on Instagram. Like I think the average athlete is 2%. Mine's like 8 or 9%, and it's just fun. I gotta, excuse me. I gotta pass the time somehow, so I just go back, not back and forth in a bad way, but sometimes I just talk to people online and. Even just casually, I like memes, you know. Fuck, they're funny. Some of the meme pages are funny. Oh, it always happens. Yeah, I'm just a fan, man.
Lastly for me, Rob was here earlier and he was saying, hey, I felt like I was doing well right up until I wasn't, and that we play a game of, like a tightrope walk here where it could happen to either guy. Did you feel like that? Like there were times where maybe he was close to catching you and you caught him instead?
He grazed my lip once. He whizzed past a few times, but I always established my distance. So I never felt in danger. And I said, fear is not real, danger is real, and I'm a dangerous man. I was the danger, yeah.
Yesterday, after the weigh-ins, we spoke to your family, and they spoke about how proud they are of you. And the moment when you got up on the scale, we saw you got almost a little bit emotional when you saw them there. And your mum was talking about how she wanted you to become an accountant, how obviously it's a family of professionals, but how much they've backed you going through this career. What does it mean to now be the champ? I know they're here in the room right now, and you sort of handed them that belt in the octagon. Sort of talk us through how that felt for you, being able to do that.
It was just cool. Like, I've done it before in Atlanta with Eugene, so to prostrate you know, and hand them the belt, like just to present it to them. It's like my two creators. Eugene created this beast, and they created this human. So, yeah.
Just speaking of Eugene, I mean, just quickly, he's a guy that doesn't get as much credit as I believe he deserves. He had a big night tonight and a big weekend altogether.
Three-peat. I told them, man, we did it in February. Me, Kai, and Shane, we did the three-peat. We repeat the three-peat tonight.
What does he mean to you?
You trying to make me cry?
I don't want you to cry, but I
Okay,
just
go
want to...
ahead. He means a lot to me. I'll take a bullet for that, man.
And just finally, I mean, how good does it feel to see Dan win against Al and Brad win? We saw in the back you were celebrating when Brad won, and everybody was jumping around from the team.
Yeah, never mind. Go ahead.
How did that feel to see that?
Yeah, Brad's fight, you know, trust me, this is his first UFC fight. It's not as, you kind of have to adjust sometimes. Different folks, different strokes, but he showed you his mana. He showed you, like, he's from Christchurch in New Zealand, and with the earthquake, you know, see how they rebuild. They're strong people. Quake City's his name. That man don't fold. That man loves a fist fight. Dan. Yeah. Dan's just a superstar in the making, and I'm glad he did what he did tonight on this stage. And I didn't hear his post-fight speech, but I heard 2020 at the end, but I heard it's Dustin Poirier, so I'm looking forward to that. I think that should headline Spark Arena in Auckland next year.
Izzy, congratulations on the victory.
Dashmel.
You're in the catbird seat. Paulo Costa came here because he wants to face you next. You said in the octagon you'd face him. You just addressed John Jones. You guys have been beefing on Twitter.
Who?
John Jones.
No, I don't want to talk about him anymore. I'm over him.
The question is, your decision-making for the next fight. Will it come down to legacy
I'm looking at...
or making money?
The division. It's fuck money. Money will come. I don't chase money. Money chase me. It's about legacy. It's about moments. It's about being an icon, you know? I'll do what I do and the money will flow. Doing this game, I never did it for the money. Trust me, we're going to talk. But I never did it for the money. I'm doing this for legacy. I showed you guys tonight I can do things that no one else has ever done. From the walkout to the fight itself. It was perfect for me and my team. And yeah, I'm not doing this for the money alone. I love the money, don't get me wrong, and the money love me. But legacy, history.
Thank you. Just one quick question. You mentioned in the pre-fight build-up that you were sitting in the nosebleed section watching the Ronda Rousey fight. Here you are now. You've just fought in front of an even larger crowd than that. You're now the unified champion. Did your vision play out exactly as you imagined? Tell us about it.
Yeah, exactly as I imagined. There's always variables in the way and whatnot, but in that cage, even backstage, I was so calm. I was like, why do I feel this calm? Even Dan was so relaxed. You know, I was like, fuck, should I be this relaxed? But I think I just used my energy properly. I used my chakra properly, and I was able to just control it and channel it at the right moment, which was in the cage.
Izzy, after February, your fight in February down here, mate, I asked you about Africa, and I think you can pretty much call your own shot now. So the question is...
Shot caller.
The question is, mate, do you pick Africa or do you pick New Zealand?
What do you mean?
Well, where would you fight next?
Right now? Oh, definitely New Zealand. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. You're trying to be that guy. First of all, what was I trying to say? For me, the UFC Africa has to take some time. It's not going to be next year. It's going to take some time because even right now, I wouldn't. Honestly, it would have to either be somewhere like Morocco because the leadership and the corruption where I'm from, people will try. It'll be too much, you know. Like there's just too many red tapes to get through. You know, when I went back there, I saw there's so much fucked up shit happening up in the politics and whatnot. I don't want to get too much into it, but. Yeah, what would I fight next? I don't know. Probably Vegas or New Zealand. I don't know. But I want Dan to headline Auckland, the next Auckland show. And don't do that again if not. Yeah.
Israel, 2.5 years ago, you were competing in kickboxing. You got knocked out by Alex Pereira, and now you're the undisputed middleweight champion of the world with an 18-0 perfect record. If that fight had gone differently, do you think you would be here?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it definitely showed me, you know, my character, my, fucking, hold up, my phone's buzzing. Out of my mind. Go away. It definitely showed me, you know, my grit, my will. Like after that fight, I realized, look, My dog still loves me. My coaches still love me. My parents still love me. You know, the sun will rise again the next day, and so did I. And here I am. I've risen like a phoenix.
Are you the biggest star in the sport right now?
What do you think? It's subjective. I can't say that about myself. It's subjective. You might not like me to think I am, but yeah, if you want to say that, go ahead.
At the Ultimate Media Day, you mentioned that when
Listen to this shit. Hold up. Stop now. Carry on.
You mentioned that when you won, there might be an announcement you'd make in the octagon that would blow people's minds. I just wondered what that was.
What was that?
You mentioned at the Ultimate Media Day that if you won, that there might be an announcement you could make in the octagon afterwards that would blow people's minds, and I was just wondering what that was going to be.
I don't remember saying that. I say a lot of things. I say a lot of things.
Hey, Israel. Obviously, you're not a massive fan of Paulo Costa's physique, it seems, but what do
He
you
looks good. He looks beefy, and he looks like a swimsuit model, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. He's a handsome man.
But what do you think of his fighting ability? I mean, as a
It's
fighter.
basic, but that's not a bad thing. Basic is what, you know, my shit is built on foundation. I just know how to work off my basics. He doesn't. Everyone he fights is a punching bag that's just waiting there to get hit. And I can't wait. I can't wait till I fight him. I'm not impressed, to be honest. I'm not impressed by your performance. Yeah.
Realistically, when would you like to have that fight?
I'll talk to my coach and we'll talk. But right now I'm fresh. We can go anytime. Yeah, but not in the near future till I talk to my coaches.
It might be a bit hard to say, but would you think he's...
2 seconds. Hold up 2 seconds, please.
On.
It's my show. I can do what I want. I just have to... My cousin is calling from Nigeria right now.
Say hello from me.
Olumide Sugar, what's happen? It's my guy. Wait, why we late? You're on TV now, Joe. You don't know. Shout my multi for me, okay? What's you? He's a little bit tiddly. Hey, Mark Bay later. Monshi Shegon. I love you. All right, I'll call you later, okay? All right, peace. Olumide Sugar. It's been blowing me up. Wagwan.
Do you think... I don't know, I forgot. Paulo Costa is a tougher challenge for you than Robert Whittaker, or do you think...
Fuck no.
Okay.
I just honestly, like I say, like I came from when I was... That's why Anderson Silva really changed my mentality about martial arts. Jackie Chan first did, then Anderson Silva, because I had the idea of... I think it's just something that's been infused through Hollywood, that you got to be this jacked Rambo motherfucker to be a fighter and be a tough guy, because that's what you see in movies. That's what you grow up watching. So everyone still sees that, and it's just embedded in them that they think that's a bad motherfucker, or that's the guy. It's like, nah. And look at me, oh, he's so skinny, bro. I'm gonna break his face, bro. I'm gonna break him. You got no power, bro. Well, I don't need power. Everyone has power. I have precision.
Izzy, you know, when I was speaking, sorry, over here.
Hi.
When I was speaking to you in the lead up to this fight, you kind of referenced Demetrius Johnson and Anderson Silva as people that you wanted to be as great as, or even surpass. Is that your idea now with that title? You kind of are looking at their run of title defenses and you want to compete with that?
Look, it's harder to stay champ than it is to be champ. This is most people's, like, they've clocked the game. And then you see a lot of people just fall off after this. Then they don't have that, because they've done it. They've done what they wanted to do, what they set out to do. I've done one thing that I set out to do, which is become the UFC champion. Now it's about defending that actively, not like fight twice a year. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people just expect, it's different. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to run my own legacy, not like anyone else or compared to anyone else. I'm going to run my own legacy and carve my own way.
Eugene kind of said to us that he wanted to see what would happen to you when you became champion. Would you stay as active? Is that what you're saying? You want to keep up this same activity?
Yeah, I saw that snippet of the interview when he said that. He's like, it depends. There's a quote, it's harder to wake up in the morning when you silk sheets, sorry. Fuck, stay woke, stay broke. It's up here. Don't ask me for shit. I'm broke. I ain't got no money. All my money's just tied up in investments. So I need to eat. I need to pay bills. So I got to fight again.
You know, you said you weren't impressed by Paulo Costa. Who are you impressed with that's currently active at the moment? Who
Jared
impressed you?
Cannonier. I like that guy. He's a cool dude. I like his style. I like the fact that he came down from heavyweight to light heavyweight, now middleweight. I'm impressed with what he's doing. And he still has like another one fight probably. Well, it depends. Depends who he beats next. Depends who he fights next. 1 or 2 fights. Then I want to see him some, I like challenges like that. Like Robert. Robert's a beast. I've seen Robert on Tough Smashes. I didn't really watch the season, but yeah, was it Tough Smashes? I don't know. Which one did he come up on? Yeah. But it's about taking names, taking out the greats of this game. So when it's all said and done, it's not about like, oh, he won that belt or this. It's like, nah, he beat the fuck out of everyone that they put in front of him.
Just finally, do you expect Rob to be able to fight his way back into a rematch
I
situation?
told him in the octagon, I said, I'll see you again. Because I remember, first thing I said, look, you're better than, what did I say? I can't remember now. It would probably be on one of the things with the UFC. They'll catch it on camera. But I said, I'm greater than I think I am. Because that was my alarm for the last 12 weeks. When I wake up, it says, UFC 243, be greater than you think you are. And that's because he said, oh, that Israel fella, he's not as good as he thinks he is. So I took that. I was like, you don't know how I think I am. I'm great. Like, you don't know me. So for someone to try and tell me how to be me, I don't know. It's not personal, but I just kind of use that as like a little fuel. So I just told him, like, I'm greater than I think I am, and so are you. It's like, I don't know. And I said, I'll see him again, definitely. Like, he'll definitely work his way up. And he said, probably in 2 fights, I'll see you again.
All right. Thank you, Izzy.
Are we done? Oh, that was fun. Smoke or break?